Hey, Real Nerds. There's many ways to enjoy the Real Nerds podcast. You can listen to us on Stitcher, iTunes, and now Spotify and iHeartRadio. You can see what we're up to around town by following us at Real Nerds on Instagram. And if you want to send us your thoughts, you can email us at realnerds@gmail.com or call us at 720-6nerds5. Like us on Facebook at Real Nerds Podcast or tweet us at Real Nerds. And now on with the show.
Roll camera, action!
Well, a real nerd knows who shot, and a real nerd can follow the plot, and a real nerd can...
Doesn't talk through film. I'm sorry.
Take it outside.
Well, a real nerd knows who shot, and a real nerd can follow the plot, and a real nerd will give it all they got. Lights, camera, action! Real nerds.
This is Real Nerds Podcast. We will be at Denver Fan Expo June 30th through July 2nd. And this year, there is so many things happening. Star Trek, the cast of Scream, Sam Raimi will be there, and a whole bunch of other things.
And you're going to talk to every one of them.
Fucking A.
You're going to get them on this show, and they can't say no.
Did you send in our plan for the 100 by 100 foot space?
I did. Send it off just today.
Nice. 100 by 100, right?
Yeah. Like, I know there's two other cons going on along with Denver or Fan Expo this year, but we've got our own floor, so it's good. It's
Sweet.
cool. Yeah.
So look for us there. I already got this year. I got friends that want to come. So my friend Brittany says, "Is there a way you can get me in?" She spent the $285 to get her picture with the cast of Scream. So I know. I said, "Sure, I'll get you in, so you don't have to pay the $90 ticket too."
I mean, I only asked for 4 passes, and fingers crossed we get all 4. So,
well, it's fine. Once we're at the booth, I mean, we'll be able to trade them out.
Sure. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And I mean, if it's like last year, it's only going to be you and I there. So we'll always have 2 passes every day.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Zach plans to go, and Russell's coming in from out of town. So
nice.
I was kind of open to share some with him.
Sure. I mean, we'll figure it out. We always do. We always do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, the only one I said is because she spent that much money to get her picture with the cast of Scream.
I feel like they can afford to spend money on the ticket too at that price. Wow.
Yeah. That's her favorite movie of all time. And, yeah. And I kind of owe her anyways, because not only did she get me a Sarah Michelle Gellar signed picture, but tomorrow she's bringing in a John Carpenter signed Halloween poster for me. So
just bribing you left and right. Wow.
I know. And she's a cool chick. Just saying. Anywho, so you'll see us at Denver Fan Expo. And if you're friends of ours, looks like our tickets are already spoken for. So good luck.
Yeah, don't hit us up.
Yeah, we're swamped with requests, which is weird because remember a couple years when we just always had extras and no one used them.
And now we're so popular, we just can't. We got to shut that stuff down ahead of time.
I know. We got to look ahead and plan, and it's what we do.
It was fun having our booth being the de facto locker for everybody to store their stuff while they hung out the con.
Yeah, we didn't get, it wasn't too bad last year. I don't remember.
Well, yeah, last year is kind of like the fully back thing. And so I don't think every attendance wasn't fully back either. So a lot of our longtime fans weren't there yet.
True. And actually, I will say that this year, the celebrity guests are kind of out of control. Not in a bad way. I mean, in a good way.
Again, it's still a few months away. I expect 50% of those to drop off a week before the con.
I'm sure they will, but my only one, I want Sam Raimi, baby. I looked, his autograph is $85. So
Yeah. They promise now, but then, come June, they get hired for whatever summer thing they're filming and they're out of there.
yep. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they'll all be there. But on Real Nerds Podcast, we see a new movie and we podcast our experience to the world. This week we saw Shazam and the Fury of the Gods. Stay tuned because we'll tell you if we recommend the film or not, play the trailer. And usually we do news and what we've been watching, but I have something different planned this week. And Brad, I'm not going to tell you until we get there. So
That's rude.
It's my show. I do what I want.
Yes, you do.
Yep.
Not even going to fight it.
You shouldn't because you don't have a choice. Just buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. The effort is too much for me right now.
You still sound sick.
That's because I had COVID.
Oh.
Well, technically still do because I still haven't tested negative yet, but I'm better than I was last week.
Damn.
Finally got it. Fine. Yeah, last week's episode, you can hear us talking about me being sick and having gotten over it and then gotten sick again, and now I'm back. It was COVID.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yep. I have joined the other peasants in their filthy COVID underworld. I don't know if you know this, but Highlands Ranch is a disgusting community.
Is it?
A bunch of selfish disease spreaders, and yeah, don't ever come to Highlands Ranch. It sucks.
Done. I mean, I was at IKEA, so that kind of counts today. So
yeah, it's more Lone Tree, but yeah.
It's bordering.
Yeah, no, I think I actually got it at a this corporate gig that I got hired to do. I took two different Lyft rides to get to the venue, to avoid the St. Patrick's Day parade, and so it's either one of those rides or just the
well, unfortunately, I
itself.
think no matter what you do, you're going to catch it at some point.
Yeah, I figured eventually I was going to, but of all the weeks I needed to actually make a lot of money and I could have gotten ahead on my bills, it had to be this week.
That sucks.
So I've lost 7 or 8 days worth of work.
But at least you're vaccinated and it wasn't as bad as it could have been, right?
Totally. Like it only felt like one of my worst sinus infections.
Oh, that's good.
And I only made things worse when I saline flushed my sinuses 4 times in the same night. So the next morning I woke up and it was like, that sound, like the icebergs crackling makes.
Yes.
That's what the inside of my face sounded like. It was so dry.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's not fun. So don't go to extremes to heal yourself too fast. But
yeah, I came back to work. Yeah, I had it in July of 2020, so really early, and I just had a really bad fever. I never really had trouble breathing or a cough or sinuses like you, but my fever was really bad for like 10 days.
10 days? Wow.
Yeah. Then my doctor said if I don't have any fever for 3 days, then I can go back to work. So the first 3 days I just suffered, and then I was like, man, maybe I should go get this checked out. And then when he said I had it, so I really just missed like 6 days of work. And then I had 3 days of no symptoms. And when I was at work, I was on this call, and I remember I was looking in this car, and I just got hit with this like wave of I'm too tired to do anything, and everything hurts. And I think I came back too soon. It was a struggle to get through a whole shift. But then it took me like another week, and that was good.
So yeah, you're pre-vaccine, so
yeah,
you got the
full
effect of it. But yeah, like I never felt like I was ever had a fever. I did because we eventually took my temperature, and I was like, oh, it is high. Like I did not feel this at all.
Yeah,
but that was like Thursday, so I quickly got over it, and it's like been off and on like random sweats.
Yeah,
which are kind of gross.
That's trying to get, out of your body. Yeah. But like I think I told you a couple weeks ago, since I got the vaccine and all the boosters, I haven't been sick since. I got a little sick a couple weeks ago, but nothing like, an actual super sick, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But that was the first time in almost 3 years. And I honestly think it's because I got, the vaccine, the 3 boosters, and a flu shot every year. So,
yeah,
I feel like, and because I got it without the vaccine, COVID, I think when I did get the vaccine, it's my, immune system was already in like hyperdrive. So, I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I think that's what happened.
Yeah, your wife is though, but
yeah. I mean, she didn't care. I'm just kidding. It's the first time in our marriage, because I remember I was in our guest bedroom. Obviously, I didn't want to get my kid or my wife COVID. And I remember I'd be not sleeping, but I'd be laying down because I just had a bad fever. I mean, I think I read, no joke, probably 200 comics while I was sick.
Wow.
But yeah, I was just like laying there, and I'd see out of the corner of my eye, she would just be staring at me. And I'd say, "What are you doing?" She said, "I just want to make sure you're still breathing." Hey, thanks. But
you just casually admitted that 200 issues of your comic collection, if you ever sell them, they contain COVID inside.
They do.
Surprise.
Just
straight CGC them
on paper and
it's just
plastic sleeves.
When you closed it got sealed. It got hermetically sealed when you put the plastic on top of it. So yeah, there's just like living COVID in there constantly. There's no way for it to expose the elements and die out. So it's just, yeah.
Or it just deteriorates the comics I read.
You sell it. All that's left is the cover.
That would be sad.
What are you trying to pull, Frost?
Speaking of comics, this week we saw Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Brad, do you recommend Shazam?
The trailers did not have me that interested. Like, I like the first one a lot. But the trailers kind of seemed like, hey, punchy monster movie. That's cool. That's fine. The DCEU's ending anyway. Who cares? But I was still on board to watch it because I'll watch it no matter what. Why not? And I loved it. I thought it was a ton of fun. The story is not that interesting overall, like the plot, but the characters are fun enough. The situations are fun enough. It's just a fun kind of intermediary until we get the new DC stuff that I think we're wanting.
Yeah, actually, I'm on board with you. I think this film is unfairly maligned.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I went and watched it, I took Kellen because I showed Kellen the first one a couple months ago, and he loved it. And so we went and saw this one, and you're right. It's the story is a nice continuation because you don't have to establish who Billy Batson is anymore, which, I mean, I guess it loses some of its heart in that way. But I would also argue that it actually gains some heart. When we get to spoilers, I'll talk about it. But you're right. I had a lot of fun. And I love the scene where he was talking to Helen Mirren at the cheesecake restaurant.
Yeah.
I thought was great. I think it's just a fun movie. And I agree with Rachel Ziegler. It's okay to go see a movie and just have fun. And that's what I thought I got out of this film.
We are at war. We will annihilate everything. Champions of this realm can do nothing to stop us.
You are very menacing. I just want you to know that.
A lot has changed in the last few years. The wizard gave me superpowers. But then everybody got superpowers.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right, here's the situation.
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here.
The daughters of Atlas are coming to hunt us.
Children stole the power of the gods. You ripped it from our father's core.
Okay, I feel like maybe I should be writing all this down.
Give us the powers, child.
Your world will not survive this.
You want these powers? Come get them!
Hey, Khaleesi!
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right.
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here.
We have one job to do. Save the world. Billy!
I don't know how we fight powers like this.
I can't do this. Take my powers back. You gave them to me so you could take them back, right?
I spent millennia searching for a worthy champion. You know exactly what must be done.
Billy, what are you doing? I have to do this.
We end this now.
Yeah, we do.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
So
now I remember what I was gonna say.
Cool.
So immediately with the second movie, you're not going to have that like level of discovery you had with the first one, like that charm of just finding out Shazam and his like what his powers are. Like that's not going to be accessible in the second one because
correct.
Like there's no reason to touch on it again. Just move on. So yeah, I think that's like, this movie's not like a full home run for me because it doesn't have that sense of discovery, but with the plot being what it is, which go ahead and describe, I guess.
So in this one, if you remember at the end of Shazam, Billy gives everybody in his family the powers, or all the foster kids, the power of Shazam as well. So they each have their own power. And this one is just a continuation of them learning to be heroes and work together as a team and not be selfish. And so Freddy, who I think the kid who plays Freddy is awesome. I think it was really smart for them to focus more on him this go around and put you in his shoes, because I think it says something where he has a disability and he's given these superpowers and he thinks that that's what makes him who he is.
Yeah.
And
he's the one who could be the most tempted to exploit them. Exactly.
And I mean, you understand why, because not only is he a foster kid, and I can't remember, he says something about it in the first film to Billy about, no one cares about him because he's just a cripple. And now that he has these powers, he's already been kind of funny. In this one, you follow him to school and he meets Anne, and she is a new student, and he hits it off with her because these bullies are picking on her and he stands up to them, and they kind of have this cute chemistry, and he shows her where he sat down and had lunch with Superman and Shazam in the last film. And so it goes from there. You learn that the Daughters of Atlas are after the staff again because I'm not sure on that part. Yeah. It's a lot of they want this.
They do a callback to the state fair where famously after he gave everyone the powers, Shazam broke it in half and then just tossed it aside, but never bothered to pick it back up.
Too, where he's like, I just left it there, so it literally like went in the sewers or something.
Yeah, it got collected in the trash and then found and then shipped overseas to like a European museum. But they also mentioned that the moment he severed it, it unleashed like the Daughters of Atlas, who were trapped in some like Phantom Zone realm or something.
Yeah, like they basically they're in this ancient Greek kind of Phantom Zone or Nether realm.
Yeah,
and by him breaking the staff allowed them to get free, and they want to just go home. Basically, is what one of them wants to do. Well, two of them, and then Lucy Liu's character, Calypso, she has other ideas, and she's kind of a loose cannon in their scheme of things. Anyways,
yeah, I'm still confused about the scheme because they make a big deal about getting the scepter and then declaring that they want to take back all the Shazam powers for themselves. But turns out that was really a ruse for this golden apple that is hinted at in some of my new favorite characters in the DC universe are Steve the Pen and the flaming violin. Yeah. So even though they've been mapping that like door world outside the lair, who is it? I think it's Eugene. It's like, oh, by the way, there's like this Harry Potter land behind these statues where they can learn all this knowledge and stuff. And so there's this sentient pen they named Steve, and he just will write down everything that they say for them.
Yeah, it was. That was actually one of my favorite moments too. Was when Helen Mirren's character was reading the letter.
Yeah.
Hey, that sounds pretty cool. Like really awesome. And
don't write that.
Yeah.
Leave that part out. Yeah. Some of the gags, are so funny and like so childish, and as it should be. It's kid superhero movie.
Yeah. So I mean, really, that's the point of it. They
the apple is going to be used to like if you drop it in a planet, it'll grow the tree of life and then turn that planet into like, I guess, their world.
Yeah, which unleashes mythical creatures like Minotaurs, Cyclops, Griffins. And
they were going to use it on their own world until Calypso decided, hey, we should just get revenge and use it on their world.
Yeah, and she's kind of on an island by herself, but she also proves to be like the strongest one of them. And summons that dragon, and Kellen laughed so hard about the unicorn part. This is the second movie I've seen a unicorn stab somebody.
This year?
No, well, including Cabin in the Woods. And, well, it was funny because that little girl, she's riding the unicorn and she says, "Taste the rainbow, motherfucker!" And it like cuts, and Kellen could not stop laughing because they gave enough of fucker for him to know that that's what it was going to be, without her saying it. And it's funny. And for it to the nectar of the gods to be Skittles, it's pretty funny.
I know. I see so many people complaining like, "Oh, such stupid product placement." I'm like, it was like a minute of the movie. Like, come on.
Yeah, but also it fits. To me, it fits what's going on.
Yeah.
Because what else would like a little girl, think of that's really sweet and tastes good and unicorns? I'd argue Skittles.
Yeah, like what were they going to do to go get actual ambrosia? Like, get ambrosia salad? Like,
yeah, I don't understand the dislike of the film. I thought it was a lot of fun. The bridge scene where they're saving everybody was really fun. And, when Shazam grabs that lady, he says, "No way, you're listening to the song while I'm saving you?"
Yeah, and then
I need a hero.
And Freddy's like, "Oh, this is so tough." Not really. Like,
yeah,
it's like he's struggling to hold the cars, but he's just have to. Yeah.
Like to me, it feels like if kids got superpowers, what they would do.
Totally.
They would be irresponsible with them.
Imperfect,
not
strategic.
Yeah. It's a lot like early Spider-Mans to me, where he doesn't have everything figured out. Just like, Shazam, he doesn't have everything figured out. And when you add in the fact that there's, other kids involved, they don't either.
Yeah. I loved how they've tricked out the lair with like their own like silly stuff.
Yeah. I love the googly eyes on the demons from the last movie.
Yeah. Totally. Some of the thrones have like those like seat beads that like taxi drivers
or they're using Microsoft PowerPoint to go over their plan. It's just like, to me, it's what I expect, like I said, kids to do.
And then, the flaming violin is just like this distraction in the corner all the time.
And then I love the callback when, Calypso's trying to kill Anna and Freddy, and they just randomly put in there. It distracts her long enough for them to.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, initially it just felt like a throwaway joke in the lair, but yeah, that actually came back later. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, literally when they're about to be like eaten by the dragon, Shazam just says like, "Hey, look over there," to distract her, and he gets the scepter.
Yeah, he even says, "I can't believe that worked twice."
I didn't even have the violin this time.
No, it was awesome. It was just fun. Like I mentioned earlier, I loved, I just love the reveal of Anna, and she really isn't, down with what they're doing. And when Rosa tells Billy that she's proud of him and that she's not going to get rid of him just because he's worried about the financial burden of being a foster kid to the family is. And I mean, to me, that's the heart of the movie. It's a family movie, and it's about being part of a family. So,
yeah.
And even Cooper Andrews, who, I did a great panel with, I loved his bit where he says, "Do you guys have another plan? Because I don't know how many more Minotaurs I can hit in the battle van."
It's called the battle van now. Making this up as I go along. Yeah. The really sad part though is Freddy's teacher, Diedrich Bader.
Yeah.
Gets like, I totally thought someone was going to save him, but no, he turned into ground meat. Poor guy.
Yeah, you literally hear him like splat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you should see it. I don't understand the discourse towards it. I think it's pretty fun.
I just think there's just a segment of fans who are just getting too serious about movies like this. Like everything needs to be have weight or continuity to it, and it's getting exhausting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did. I mean, one, there's a great cameo by Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool because they set it up like the first Shazam where they didn't show Superman's face. And in this one, he's daydreaming with having a date with Wonder Woman by the Eiffel Tower. And that she comes back and, I forgot how iconic her theme music is. And just hearing that theme music and her showing up, and it's cool. And at the end with Harcourt and I forget the other guy's name from
John Economist. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like complaining, and when he gets there and she says, "I want you to join the Justice." Yes.
Even I was like, I think they mean society, dude. And yeah.
Yeah. Is that the one for Wonder Woman? You're a little obsessed with Wonder Woman. You're not? It's funny.
Yeah. Although I don't know why Shazam's like on some abandoned roadside gas station still like tinkering with his powers.
Yeah, why not?
It feels like a cutscene for the last movie, as it should have been. But
and then they had another tag scene with that worm thing and Mark Strong's character.
Yeah, Dr. Savannah.
Yeah, and it's just like a silly throwaway. He's like, "But I'll be right back."
It's funny because the last movie had that cutscene and it was teased as like, what's going to happen next, and nothing ever became of it. And so they've done it twice now. And this one definitely alludes to nothing will ever happen with this. I'm a worm. It takes me years to crawl anywhere to achieve my plans.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think Mark Strong's coming back for any full movies. It's going to be cutscenes with the worm from here on out. Yeah, it's just fun. I love it.
Yeah. Like I said, I just had fun at the movies, and that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So I teased it a little bit at the top of the show, Brad. I'm going to change it up because last week we had a conversation and it makes me really interested. And this is going to be deep. Are you ready?
Sorry, I was just thinking about how for a second the staff broke and released all the Daughters of Atlas, and for some reason he couldn't just break in half again. Anyway, go on.
I mean, I guess you could. Anyways, I guess not last week. The last show I was on, was it last week? I can't remember now.
Yeah, Ghostface Jason Manhattan.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. And we talked about how you aren't a big fan of, King Kong 1933 and
oh my God,
how you view film. So I did a deep dive, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
I went through your letterbox.
Okay.
And I'm just curious because as I go through it, I just want to understand not necessarily about that film, but how you view film as whole, because you have a very eclectic taste in movies you like.
So you just create a segment to shame me publicly? Is that what this is about?
I'm not shaming you. I'm not making fun of you.
Okay.
I just want to talk about it.
Okay.
I think it's fascinating because don't we talk about movies we love and stuff?
I wasn't sure. The way you were talking, it sounded like you're gonna like embarrass me in front of all the listeners.
No,
like I was a hypocrite or something.
No. I think one of my favorite things about movies is their interpretive art. So everybody has their own idea of what they enjoy in film. So as I just go through your letterbox, it's not that I'm going to pick movies that you rated low that should be high. No, I want to understand what you look for in film and why certain films speak to you more than other films.
Okay, interesting. You sure you want me to do this on COVID Brain?
Yeah, I don't care.
All right.
It's my show. Just because as I go through your list, you don't rate very many films with 5 stars. That's like you reserve 5 stars for what?
For stuff that's special, like you just hand out the Oscar to everybody, right?
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just trying to gauge why you think what makes a film special.
Okay.
And so, I mean, you don't have a choice. So I was just digging into your stuff, and because you like films that a lot of people maybe won't think that highly of. Something like Super Mario Brothers, the original, a
masterpiece.
One.
Yes, go on.
So I'm just curious what you see in a film like that makes it so revered in your mind.
Like the production design impressed me when I was with that movie. I was probably 12 when that came out. And I wanted to go see it in the theater and couldn't for like the longest time. And I think like right before it went out of theaters, I think I got to go to like the Union 6 or something to see it. I was a big Mario fan, and I didn't care that it looked completely different from the games. I grew up in the 90s, Ryan, where they didn't have CGI to make exact interpretations of the things I liked. They used animatronic suits to create Ninja Turtles instead of CGI back then. So I was on board with interpreting the Mario world in that movie. This is how it is. You just have to accept it. I think as an abstract interpretation of that game, given the resources they had at the time, I'm impressed. Like I think that's the way to do it in 93 or 92, I guess. They probably filmed it. I don't know. I appreciate creativity and ingenuity. What can I say?
And it's a film that you still hold in reverence to this day, even with when you go back and look at it.
Yeah, it's fun. And also, like, now that I know all the trouble they had making that movie, in the face of adversity, they still got it done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then also, I noticed there's some films that you don't rate. Is there a reason why you don't rate them, or you just forget?
Those might just be I forgot. Occasionally I'll flip through and realize like, oh, this doesn't have a rating. That's weird.
Gotcha.
Because usually I only give the ratings when I watch them in the diary, which we've already had a discussion about how you didn't understand there's a diary function.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the ones that are on there that don't have a rating were just like me adding them to lists.
Gotcha. I thought maybe you didn't want to hurt people's feelings or something.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about that. If Spielberg ever gives me a call and says like, "Hey, what the hell?" then I might. But right now, no. I'm not worried about that happening.
You know, Brad, I was going to hang out with you, but then I saw you didn't rate 1941, so fuck you.
I've seen it. I swear, it's fine.
And then because, like I said, I'm just curious as I go through it. It seems like the 3-star is your most commonly used one. Is that for a film that you don't think is great, but you think is not bad? It's like your average rating.
Yeah, I feel like most movies are the same, are average. They accomplish the same things. You get the same feeling watching them. They're neither bad nor good. They're just middle of the road, mediocre, you know?
Mm.
They're perfectly pleasant to enjoy, but they don't strive for anything more. They're just there to entertain, and that's fine.
So what for you, if you see like a middle of the road film, like Rebecca, the 2019 one, I think, and then something like Psycho Goreman that you gave a 4-star to, so you like that one a little more. Is that just back to the creativity of it?
Well, Psycho Goreman's funny, and Rebecca's not. So bonus points for humor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's just the humor is like sets it apart.
Yeah, it's also creative. Like it homages an era of filmmaking I like. Rebecca is a classy film, and it tells a story, and that's the end of it for me.
Gotcha.
Has no monsters, has no gore effects, just people talking.
Is that something important to you? Like that just people talking usually isn't enough for you to like highlight a film, if that makes sense.
Depends on what they're talking about, because I have the original Clerks rated at 5 stars. So
yeah,
there's that.
So when they talk like that, what is special about Clerks? I mean, I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm just curious.
I guess it speaks to my sense of humor, my sensibilities. Like, it's something I can relate to.
Okay.
I can't relate to a bunch of wealthy European travelers living in black and white. I just
just easier.
I just don't identify with traveling across the European countryside and living the high life. It's just not something I can connect with.
So you look for more of films that you can connect with.
Isn't that everybody though?
I mean, I guess so. I don't know. I think sometimes I might just be a little more lenient than you, just like looking at your stuff. Maybe I'm easier to please. I don't know. Because, I mean, a perfect example for me is I just wrote an article of, I'm doing my 150 favorite films, and I put Commando in there, and you only gave Commando 2 stars. And to me, when I think of like a silly 80s action movie that's lots of fun, I mean, that's Commando to me to a T. But it didn't resonate with you because you were looking for something more.
Yeah.
And when I was like, I don't know what else he could be looking for in that.
No, it's fun. It's just like the plot just isn't that interesting, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it's probably not supposed to be in that movie, but I really only watch it for Schwarzenegger and one-liners and silliness.
Yeah. So that's what elevates it.
Yeah. And 2's not a terrible score either. Like, if you find me score a movie like no stars or half star, be worried.
Okay. That's duly noted.
That's a whole, that's where I feel like I actually did waste my time.
Gotcha.
2's like, it was watchable, but it's just not gonna, I'm not gonna rush out and see it again.
So, I mean, one surprising thing to me is you're not a fan of the original Mad Max.
No.
But you do, like, one of your favorite films, I know, is Fury Road. And
the best of the Mad Max films, yes.
Oh, I don't disagree. And I guess because now I'm starting to understand where Mad Max is more of like driving and nothing that creative, but Fury Road has a lot more production design. I think it's a more interesting story. I think that visually it's more interesting.
And also, I think I saw Road Warrior before I saw Mad Max, and those are two different movies.
Oh, I agree totally.
So if you watch Road Warrior and then watch Mad Max, which is more of a drama than an action movie, it's pretty disappointing.
Okay, yeah, I mean that makes sense too. Yeah, I was really fascinated as I just went through your list because we were talking about it, last week, and go ahead.
No, I'm just so surprised. I'm so surprised you're fascinated by this because I could say the same thing about you.
For sure.
Yeah, or anybody really. Like it's just.
And that's why that's why I want to have the discussion because we talk about movies all the time, and I always am fascinated why some movies connect with people and others don't. For me, I think the original Halloween is a freaking classic, but you are not a fan of the original Halloween.
Yeah, I respect his place in history, but yeah, I don't. It doesn't do anything for me when I watch it. Like for other people, like I'd rather watch a Friday the 13th or something.
Yeah, and then just because we just talked about Commando and it's really silly and the plot isn't really anything, but you also think Street Fighter is a better film, and it's just really quirky, and that's why I like your list because I try to put my finger on what I think you would like, and I don't think I ever could.
I mean, Street Fighter, like, first of all, you got Van Damme, always fun to watch, even if it's not faithful to that character. And then just imagine being the filmmakers back then and being like, how do we adapt these crazy characters? The Street Fighter games in real life, the character designs are implausible, physically implausible for the most part, without CGI. So, they were like, well, we have to make the movie. How are we going to do it? Like, it's going to get done.
I will say, after
we're not going to hit
100%. After I watched the making of Street Fighter, I had so much more respect for the film. I still think it's a horrible movie. But when I watched it, and I was like, oh man, I don't like this movie. And then I watched the making of it, and then I went back and I watched it with the commentary, and I had a whole new respect for that movie.
Yeah.
This guy stood no fucking chance making this film.
Yeah. He wrote Die Hard, so not a bad choice.
No.
But you got Raul Julia chewing the scenery, like doing epic villain stuff, and also dying.
Yeah. Well,
during that movie.
When they talk about how he rallied and stuff, literally the tears were like welling up. I'm like, I'm not going to cry.
Yeah.
They talk about in the making of that he could barely stand in between takes, but as soon as they called him to set, he was ready to freaking rock.
Yep. Total pro. Mad respect for that guy.
So tons of respect, but I still think the movie's garbage, but I do appreciate the making of it a little more. And yeah, like I said, I just think it's really fascinating what, connects with people. And I think sometimes you're more forgiving to things that you love. I mean, I know I am. I
think most people are, yeah.
Yeah, because Bruce Campbell is one of my favorites, and a lot of his movies I would not say are great, but I'm able to look past that because I go, oh, this one he fights, aliens, and it's a Sci-Fi Channel movie. But, he says a couple one-liners, and I can watch this.
I just recently watched Congo. I was so excited when he showed up, and then, that was the beginning of the movie.
I know. He dies like 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie is not good. But
how great would it have been if he'd stayed there?
Bruce Campbell's in this movie. Um, yeah. So are you excited for the new Super Mario Brothers movie then?
Yeah, sure. I'm just worried that, you know, am I the audience they're after at this point? Is it going to have humor that is accessible to me, like the original Mario Brothers movie? Or is it going to be just a bunch of TikTok references and modern pop song references, you know? It's a lot of
what I loved. Have you seen that people are like, wow, Chris Pratt's really good in it?
I did see that. I was
laughing so hard. It's just, yeah, because we live in a culture, and this goes back to the Shazam thing, and I and this sounds like an attack against Corinne, and it totally is. She like just hates movies. Like she hates them. She'll see a trailer, like, I'm not gonna see that. That looks stupid because I don't want to see it. And we have this mantra that we should see every film and give it a chance. And so I think judging movies before they come out is really bad. And just like I think this is what happened with Shazam this week, because people already had their mind made up that, well, the DCU is going to no longer exist, so why the hell am I going to see this? And I think the Snyder fans are really toxic online, like super toxic.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
to be fair, when I was in my early 20s, I was much more opinionated and snobby about film.
You were?
And I had less of a budget allocated to just seeing a movie every week, so I was a little more particular about what I chose to watch.
Sure.
Now, after years of doing this podcast, I have allocated a budget to where I can see whatever I want when I want. Corinne doesn't quite have that access yet. She still, sees a movie to, spends the money on stuff she wants to spend the money on. So I can't fault her for being like, I don't want to see this because, it's actually going to cost me to see it.
Well, she does have a Regal subscription, if I remember. So,
right.
I'm just really not going to ever let her off off the hill of not seeing Toy Story 4. Because she has like this weird thing that it doesn't need to exist.
Well, yeah. Plus, it's on Disney Plus now, and she's definitely paying for that to watch Mandalorian. So there's no reason why you can't just slip over to Toy Story 4 when it's over.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And like, she puts on there, she said, "Unfollow me if you don't want any like spoilers, or don't spoil stuff. Like, you do not have to do that.
I took up the challenge.
That person."
I took up that challenge, and I did. I let her know too. She's like, "That's fine." It's like, yeah, you're right.
You don't have to spoil things.
It's not your job to curate your feed for me. So I will peace out on my own.
Yeah. And she's not here, so she can't defend herself. She sent me this message last week as I said, I'm just seeing if anybody listens. And she sent me this, "I do listen," with this like pissed off emoji. Just checking. But I still think you should give every movie a chance, and you never know what will, what you'll like. And I think
that is a pet peeve of mine when people complain like, "I wasted my time watching this movie." Like, really, your time was that valuable? Like, maybe if you're a heart surgeon, maybe. But yeah, I feel like even movies that I watch and don't enjoy, like I learned something from that experience. I wouldn't demand my money back for it.
Honestly, too, sometimes, because I mean, you can go back and listen. I wasn't the biggest fan of Psycho Goreman when it came out, not at all. And hearing how you liked it, and then you talked about the Blu-ray. I said, you know what? I'm going to get the Blu-ray because there's so many special features. And I'm going to give this another chance. And I think I came into it the second time with a better frame of mind of what I was expecting. And I had a lot more fun with it. And I think too, I think you're right. I have a friend who he's a big horror movie guy. And he always sends me random horror films to watch. And they're not always the greatest, but I'll always check them out because why not? And yeah, I agree. And I really do try to enjoy everything. And
who's that guy that made like House of the Dead and Postal.
Yui Bowl.
Yui Bowl. Yeah, see, if I hadn't watched a couple of his films, I would never have known to never watch any of them ever again.
Yeah. Remember when we paid money to see House of the Dead?
I do. I think I saw that ticket in my ticket binder.
I always remember, too, that I saw a Catwoman with Halle Berry because it came with a free ticket when you bought Batman the Animated Series on DVD.
And you know what? It's been almost 20 years. I kind of want to watch it again.
Dude, I think the same thing, too, when I'm on HBO Max. I'm like, I should watch this because HBO Max is notorious for taking things off their streaming service. So
I think maybe sometime this year we need to have a House of the Dead revisiting party or something. And,
we should
see if our tastes have changed about it.
We should. I got to take Corinne up on this offer. She's wants to show me Dragon Ball Z superhero, superhero. I forget what it's called, but I told her I would do it because I can't be a hypocrite and not watch it. Because I watched Belle, her favorite movie from last year, and she came and picked it up, and she said, "Well, quick synopsis. What did you think?" And I said, "It's a movie." The animation was great in it. I will give it that. But I promise that, Corinne, that I will watch Dragon Ball Z superhero because you never know. Maybe I'll really like it and it'll be really fun. I don't know. I just hope I can understand it. If it's just dudes running around and punching each other and fucking shit up, I'm like, all right, I can get on board on that.
And it's Dragon Ball, it probably is. They're probably standing across from each other, yelling at each other, and then they'll cliffhanger into a fight.
I love it. Love it.
Like every Dragon Ball thing I've ever watched.
So yeah. Hey, Brad, thanks for indulging me. I was just curious because after we talked last week, I was like, man, I wonder what I know what you like, but I wanted to go through, do a deep dive into your stuff and really kind of unpack it.
Yeah, there's not a lot to unpack. I mean, I think you're looking for a story of like, yeah, this thing happened in my life personally, and that affected me to like want to watch these things. And other than like I grew up isolated and alone, I don't know.
No, I mean, I was hoping that you were out one day walking in Golden and you found a mushroom just like connected to something, and you ate it, and it made you jump really far. But I mean, you didn't have that happen, so
no, it did not. Unfortunately, freaking Golden, man.
Yep.
Have you driven through Golden lately?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, there's a huge apartment complex being built off of Old Golden Road. It's yeah.
Anyways, we talk about movies, and thanks for indulging me, Brad.
Yeah, no problem.
Is there anything
discussion?
Anything else you want to say?
We're not doing what we've been watching?
We can if you want. I don't care. Not doing it.
Even though I was sick and at home like all week, I mostly did not watch any new movies. I actually finished my SNL watch, so that's about it. So I've watched all 48 seasons of Saturday Night Live.
Okay, so then I have the question: what do you think was the best era of Saturday Night Live, or the best season, if you can narrow it down that much?
I don't know. I can't narrow it down to season because it's just too unwieldy. Like there's just too much talent, too much great stuff. I literally just for the podcast watched. Rewatched the 40th anniversary special they had 10 years ago, which is a fantastic like look back clip show, while also being live. And it's just like it was even hard for them to contain that much content in a 2-hour show. Like every clip is just a couple seconds because how could you dedicate? And even the famously bad years. After Lauren left briefly, there's something to appreciate about those years, like especially Eddie Murphy, you know? So it's like, my biggest takeaway is that it's like people complain like, oh, it's just not as great as those first 5 years. I will say that the show has always been a hit or miss show every episode. Like those first 5 years have their clunkers in them episode to episode. Like it's never been like, I would challenge anyone to say, hey, pick an episode that was like great from start to finish. I bet you can't do it.
Yeah.
But as far as my favorite, it's not fair, but it's the seasons that I discovered it when I was young, and that's kind of the transition between the Adam Sandler, Farley, Mike Myers, Dana Carvey era to the Will Ferrell, Sherry O'Terry, Molly Shannon era.
I agree, and I think your first exposure to it is the one you love the most, if that makes sense. I mean, to me, the Sandler and Farley and Chris Rock and Mike Myers, Phil Hartman. Those are the people that I really loved. And then, the Will Ferrells and the Molly Shannon and the Rachel Dratch are the people I really latched onto.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'd fall off a little bit. Then I'd come back. My wife watches it all the time. And I just can't get into it like I used to. But if I see those older episodes, I go, oh, yeah, man, this is classic.
Yeah, the most recent seasons were 28 and 29 that I watched. Because if you do Peacock free, it starts at 30. So you have to pay to get the accessible older stuff. So when I was doing it for free, I started at 30 and worked my way up to 48. And then when I started paying for Peacock, I went back to 1 through 20 or 1 through 29. But yeah, 28 and 29, like I was around in college and like hearing this sketches, but like actually watching them full episodes back then. Cause again, like those came out when there wasn't like SNL clips on YouTube, right? So I was like, man, like I never saw this intro for this, like the intro for the season, like the title design and all that. And then like, here's a couple cast members that I never met before. I thought I saw Will Forte's stuff, but he's like, I think he comes in season 28 or something and he's, a featured player and he's only got a couple bits, but like, I think one of his first things was the Falconer. I was like, I've never seen the Falconer before. But like, I was around that time, but I missed him because it just wasn't, as accessible as it is now. But, it was a fascinating like watch to go through almost 50 years of television history. And the other cool thing is like when you watch the weekend updates, you get reintroduced to the scandals and the headlines from, the past 50 years and, being reminded of like, all these things that happened, all the stuff that they didn't touch. And you're like, you're sitting in a season or an episode that's like, this was April 18th of 1993. And you're just like, well, this was also going on, but they didn't touch on it. That's interesting.
And I mean, to me, my favorite weekend update person is Norm Macdonald, but I was there right when Kevin Nealon was working at it. And so I still love Kevin Nealon. And there is this great YouTube channel I think it's called Norm Forever. And all they do is they're like, my favorite one is Norm Macdonald shitting on OJ for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's literally just him, doing OJ Simpson jokes, which end up leading to him getting fired, but it's funny.
And his, hosting appearance, like his monologue's great because he talks about like, I was fired for doing those jokes. And then a year later, they asked me to come back. And that just means the show must suck. Enough that they want me back.
So that's fun.
It's
but I think you're right.
I was gonna say all the weekend update performers have all brought their own like style to it, which is great. Like no one's ever tried to just copy the other.
Because then I love Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. I love their weekend update.
And I forgot like she and Fallon were hosting before. At the desk before. Like I always thought the Fey and Poehler run was longer, but it was actually not. So
no,
that's another thing of like watching him episode to episode, just watching how fleeting some of the like the most iconic favorite stuff really was.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
but yeah, like after Colin Quinn, like Fey and Poehler and Fallon, like a much needed energy boost to that segment. It was fantastic.
Yeah. There is a great app. There's a Saturday Night Live app, and it lets you search, for certain things, and you can watch a lot of their best bits. It's one of my favorite apps.
Yeah, I've just been using Wikipedia. Like, there's a episode list, and people have chronicled like certain like, hey, this person appeared in this episode for this bit and stuff like so. As I go along, and I just pick up certain things like, here's where this person left, and someone who wasn't a guest star, showed up for this skit. Like, hey, Chris Kattan left 3 years ago, but he shows up for this like monologue bit, type things. So.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said that it's a show that's been on as long as we've been alive. So,
longer, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's ingrained in our psyche.
Yeah.
And it is, even though I don't watch as much as I used to, it is a nice comfort food to go to every once in a while.
Yeah, like I don't think there's anything like there's nothing less about like, hey, like it wasn't a full great episode, but there's parts of it that you do enjoy, and that now they can clip them out and put them in like their own separate thing on YouTube, and revisit them selectively. It's pretty cool.
I agree. Cool. Yeah, I've been too busy. I've been working so much, but I've been showing Kellen a lot of Aqua Teen. I don't know if that makes me a great dad or the best dad.
It's a legendary status dad.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Plantasm though. I gotta watch Plantasm.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's maybe the most cohesive plot they've ever done. But Kellen couldn't stop laughing. We watched the one with the caveman who finds Frylock's like ball, and he lives for me is now 3,000 years old. And he comes back and he sells it as like the new video game system. It's so fucking stupid. But he laughed at that one, and then he laughed at the one where Meatwad sees into the future. And he's like, "Don't open the trash can." And then he opens and he's like, "I told you, boy, it was stinky."
Did you get that Baffler meal set?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, because the reason I got it, I think I ended up paying $75 for it. But buying I had seasons like 1, 2, and 6 on DVD, and buying them separately would cost more, especially the Forever and the show or like the Aqua Teen show. I forget how it goes, but
Patrol Squad.
Yeah, like their later seasons are really hard to find on DVD, and they're really expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, the packaging isn't the greatest, but because they're all housed in one big plastic case. And I was putting a disc in and I dropped it, and it didn't break, but some of the flaps came out and I couldn't put them back in the order, and it was driving me bananas right now. So I got to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I also beat Link's Awakening finally.
Oh, nice.
I was like, I think it's the first like top-down Zelda game I've ever beaten. But
did you play? Are you talking about the one that's on the Switch?
Yeah,
I fucking love that. I love that game. I freaking love that game.
It was so hard to figure out like what to do next for most of it, and I sat there playing like it's 2023. I'm finally gonna finish this game. That's my goal. I'm gonna complete something like in isolation. And then like I looked at some information and I was like, I bought this in 2019. Oh my God. This is a pre-pandemic game. Like I felt like I just bought it yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a tough game too. Like I spent a lot of hours wandering around the map. Like, what the fuck do I do? But then when you figure it out, you feel like a genius.
I admit, and it's just, I totally went to the internet to figure out some things because I was just like, it's going to take me forever to figure out. Cause it's not obvious. I forget what clue it was, but I was like, how would anyone ever just like associate these two things without looking it up?
Yeah. I did beat Cuphead this week too. I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
I can't even beat like a level of it. You must be a master.
No, I'm not. I'm horrible. I watched this speedrunner beat every single like character or boss in 30 minutes. And my PlayStation, because I have it actually on my PlayStation and my Switch. But on the PlayStation, I was playing it and it said I've played it for 36 hours. So I'm not that good at it. You do get in a rhythm. It's one of those games that once you start beating a couple of the bosses, you can't take a week off from it. You really gotta like hunker down and play it because there's so much timing involved and there's so much shit going on. In fact, I think the King Dice is harder than the Devil in it, and the Devil is the last boss. King Dice is like his lackey before that, and he's way harder than the fucking Devil. I think once I figured out the pattern of the Devil, I only died at him like 5 or 6 times. But yeah, King Dice, fuck, it took me like 2 hours.
I don't know how, like, that's one of the hardest games I've ever played. I just gave up. So kudos to you for finishing it, because I don't think I'll ever go back to it. Like, it looks amazing, but I was so frustrated just trying to beat it.
Very frustrated, but for some reason, even though I got frustrated, I still really enjoyed playing it. And you're right, it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. So, yeah. Anyways, that's what I did this week.
Cool.
Next week, we're seeing John Wick, Chapter 4. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Getting a lot of good buzz.
Yeah.
People seem to like it already.
Yep. And then, I was looking ahead. I think the first time we can do a film explosion is April 25th. And then we might have to do one 2 weeks after that, because that's the week after Guardians of the Galaxy, where there's not another movie again.
Yeah, so we have a choice.
I think there's a break before Guardians, then there's Guardians, and then there's another break, and then it's the summer season.
I confirm, yes. Because we got Dungeons and Dragons, Super Mario Bros. Movie, maybe Renfield, definitely Evil Dead Rise, and then blank, Guardians of the Galaxy, blank, and then just Fast X, Little Mermaid, Spider-Man, Transformers, Strays, The Flash, Elemental, Asteroid City, Indiana Jones, Insidious 5, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, Barbie, Haunted Mansion, Ninja Turtles.
Wow.
Stacked.
Yay, fun. Excited.
Yep.
Cool. Well, feel better, Brad.
Thank you.
And everybody else, I'll see you at the movies. Bye.
Well, a real nerd knows who shot. A real nerd can follow the plot. And a real nerd will give it all they got. Lights, camera, action. Real nerds.
Thanks for listening to Real Nerds Podcast, a Nebulous Visions production. Stream or download episodes, read articles at realnerdspodcast.com. Stream us on Apple or Google Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. Follow us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. Twitter and Instagram, @Real Nerds. Watch us on YouTube, Real Nerds Podcast. Email us at realnerds@gmail.com. Call us at 720-6nerds5. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill, Mike at Plan 9 Studios, and Bolognium for all of our groovy theme songs. And that's how you fucking do it!